So the trend in Hollywood right now is to cast white actors to play minorities, specifically Asian characters like in Doctor Strange and The Ghost in the Shell. Do you think this is a problem? Do you think it bothers you?
Yeah, that is an issue for me. I think as a country who says that we are diverse and that we should care for our citizens, I think we should have be hiring actors, people of color, to portray themselves and not have white actors come in and just act like they know what they're doing.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So going along with that, I don't know if you've heard that Disney's doing a live-action version of Mulan. How would you feel if they cast an actress like Scarlett Johansson to play Mulan?
I would feel very uncomfortable and pretty upset and probably wouldn't go see the movie. That just wouldn't be okay in my book.
Done it more than one time. They also did it for Star Trek, like Wrath of Khan, it was also Benedict Cumberbatch. But then J.J. Abrams said that it was because he didn't want to equalize the Asian actor or whatever who would play it.
Okay, so it's kind of a positive and a negative.
Yeah, which is kind of the same response the director said.
Yeah. Okay. How do you feel about it? Would you rather an Asian character play, or an Asian actor play an Asian character?
I guess I see their points of view, but if it was in terms of narrative, I have a lot of opinions about it. I don't think it'll last a minute. But just really quick, I think that representation is important, and so I think villains-wise, I think they made a right choice. But going forward, I would hope to see more representations of people like myself. Scarlett can get any roles. There's probably an Asian actress there somewhere wanting to get even just a little bit of a snippet in a guest star in whatever show, Extra or something, whatever. And then they can't even get that. And Scarlett's getting all these roles that are not even for her sort of thing. So I think it's kind of redundant.
Yeah, I think this is a trend that we've seen a lot in Hollywood, and it's only in recent years that it's been becoming a conversation topic and more controversial, and I personally am pretty offended by it. I'm biracial, but I am half Asian, and from that sense, it doesn't make sense to me why you assume in a casting that a white character could understand the experience and accurately portray the experience of an Asian American, and I think that's where the problem lies. And also, it just contributes to the Oriental notions that we already have of Asia as something that's exotic and foreign, and that's generally where I think the biggest concern is in this casting.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's a bit of a non sequitur almost. It just doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
In my head, I don't really see the purpose or the point or how it's helping anything, anybody, or promoting any values or ideals that are positive for the system or Hollywood or America in general.
I also feel kind of offended by that, and it just kind of perpetuates the notion that white experience is universal and whites can understand everything, and that they can be present in any experience, and that other ethnicities are somehow smaller or somehow more specific. And if you think of an Asian role being portrayed by a white person, that would be fine. Nobody would really be up in arms about that. I wouldn't expect, and yet we swap that so often, and it doesn't seem.
It does bother me a little bit because I think to really portray the character, that the identity should be the same, at least in race.
Yeah.
Just a boy wouldn't necessarily play a girl, or at least not that often.
Yeah.
So this seemingly to happen the whitewashing, I think that is kind of a problem. I wouldn't go and petition, but I mean it would be nice to see more diversity in the screen.
I think for me it doesn't offend me as such, but I know for maybe my grandparents would more, just because they're more culturally sensitive, into it. So I think for me personally, it's not really, but I would like if more Asian Americans had more exposure.
I mean, I don't really know the plot very well, but I don't really have a problem with, as long as they perform well, then it's good.
We're so used to it and so accustomed to it that it doesn't bother me when that kind of stuff happens, especially in the movie business and stuff. It's something that we see such regularly.
When I first saw the movie, it might have bothered me a little bit, but then once you get into the movie, I think it's more about the film. As far as casting mainly white actors, I think if they casted other people besides white actors, that would maybe be beneficial too, because even if it's not their their specific race, you can still show some diversity by having a different actor.
On top of that, I think if the actor is perfectly portraying the character, I think in that sense it shouldn't really matter.
I think maybe initially it would bother me because I mean we grew up with the film and we grew up with the Mulan, like the Disney Mulan, so that's like the Mulan that we know. But I think being in like today's like culture and where we're at in society right now, I feel like if they were to cast a different ethnicity for Mulan, I mean people would be upset because it's not the same, but things aren't the same as they were a couple years ago. So.
Going back to what I said before, if they absolutely cannot find like a Chinese character that can perfectly fit the role of Mulan, then finding a different ethnicity to do it shouldn't be a problem.
For some people, like when they see the screen, that's like what they see of like it's like role models, like people that they can look up to.
Yeah.
So it would be nice for like other like Asian girls to also be able to look up to an Asian Mulan because Mulan is Asian, like she's Chinese. So I think that would be nice.
I think of my little cousin when she sees it, like, oh, I can be a princess like Mulan, and I think that's powerful.